Okay, talking about absolute value, let me start with the basic thing. Draw the graph, and we can go from there. All right. So first one, I'm taking absolute value of x. Let me write down the template. When absolute value of x is equal a, that means plus minus x is equal a, which means x is equal a and negative x is equal a, which means x is equal negative a. So these two are the result of this absolute value. Okay, that's how you get x is equal plus minus a. It's not it's not because right away if absolute value x is equal a, that means x is equal plus a or minus a. Where from it's coming plus a minus a? Because under absolute value it can be positive or negative. Here this one, and then only from here you get positive x is a and negative x is a, from where x is equal negative a. Now, about definition, how can you explain what absolute value is? Absolute value is a distance, pure distance from 0 to a, without direction. Both of them are a. There is no direction. Okay? All right. So, let's see. We have, I'm taking example 5, the x is equal 5, absolute value of x. And first example, absolute value of x greater equal 5. That means plus x and minus x greater equal 5, which means positive x greater equal 5. This is a. And then as a b, negative x greater equal 5. From here, x is less equal negative 5. Remember, when we have inequality, let's say negative x greater equal 5, and we divide by negative 1, when we divide by negative, we flip the sign also. Okay? Always. That's why we got x is less equal negative 1. And on the graph, it's going to look as follows. So this is 0. Let's assume this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is also 5. This is negative 5. This is 5. We have x greater equal, because it's equal, that's why I put square brackets. Square brackets always include the number also, and it's greater than. Okay, and negative 5 is also square brackets because equal sign, and it goes less than. So our solution is this and this. So if I write down in the format of interval, it's going to be from a negative infinity, because this is negative infinity, this is positive infinity. And because numbers are growing from left to right, from negative infinity to positive infinity, that's why I start writing down from left to right. So from negative infinity to negative 5, right? Negative infinity always going to be parentheses, because infinity never has a limit. It cannot be included. Okay? Therefore, there is no final value for infinity. That's why infinity in parentheses, negative 5 is square bracket, because negative 5 is included. Now, between negative 5 and positive 5, we have break here. So that's why we have this piece and this piece. So here we put or, okay? And it's going to be from positive 5 to positive infinity, okay? Next one, it's going to be absolute value of x is equal negative 5. Absolute value itself can never be equal negative because it's a distance, it has to be positive. It's different story when we open absolute value and we end up with negative, but absolute value per se cannot be negative. Therefore, the answer here, if this is negative, if this is the positive, so it's going to be no solution, okay? It's going to be no solution, all right? Next one, number 3. We have absolute value of x less equal 5. Okay, let's work this one out. We have, that means we have plus minus x less equal 5. From here, a, positive x less equal 5, negative x less equal 5, which means positive x greater equal negative 5. So this is the answer, and this is the answer. Let's put on the graph. Negative infinity, this is positive infinity. Okay, let's say this is our 0. This is negative 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is positive 5. What do we have? Less than 5, less equal 5, greater equal negative 5, which means they are going to look into each other, right? Greater equal negative 5 and less equal positive 5, which means this piece is going to be our answer. All right? And I can put this in the form, because both ends are square bracket, it's going to be negative 5, positive 5. Okay? Next version, number 4. Absolute value of x greater than 5. So it's going to be exactly same as we have here, greater equal, with the difference we won't have square brackets because equal sign is missing, which means 5 itself will not be included. So let me write down. Plus minus x greater than 5, which means a, x greater than 5, and then negative x greater than 5, or x is less than negative 5. And these two are going to be our answer. Okay. Negative infinity, positive infinity. If this is my 0, 1, 2, 3, this is your 5. And 1, 2, 3, this is your negative 5. So we will have negative less than 5, so it's going to be parentheses, because there's no equal sign. So it's going to be like this, and it will come to negative infinity. And greater than 5, it's going to be like this, and going to positive infinity. So if you look, you will see it's the same answer here, practically, with the difference, instead of square brackets we have parentheses. Why? Because we are missing equal sign. Square brackets is for equal sign. Okay, and we will have negative infinity to negative 5 parentheses, or positive 5 positive infinity. Okay. Next one, absolute value of x it's greater than negative 5. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Pay attention. It's not equal, it's greater than negative 5. So we are going to get plus minus x greater than negative 5 from here. A, x greater than negative 5. B, negative x greater than negative 5, which means x is less than positive 5, right? Okay, and what do we get? This is 1. This is another 1. Okay, the answer we are going to get is here we have negative infinity, positive infinity. Let's say this is 0. Okay, 1, 2, 3, greater than negative 5, which is coming this way. Yes, and the other one is less than positive 5. 1, 2, 3. This is positive 5, which is coming this way. So what do we get? We are getting entire line of numbers, right? This is negative infinity, this is positive infinity. Entire line of numbers, which means I can put negative infinity, positive infinity. All right? Next one. Absolute value of x is equal 5. Well, this is nothing to work on. It's equal sign, which means plus minus x equal 5, which means A, x is equal 5, B, negative x is equal 5, and x is equal negative 5. And we have what? 2 points only. That's it. Right? If this is our graphing line, negative infinity, positive infinity, this is negative 5, this is positive 5, let's say, and that's it, that's the answer. And we are going to write down curly braces. Curly braces shows not the range, but just point itself. Therefore, negative 5 and 0.5. When you see in curly braces, that means specific value, negative 5 and 0.5. There is no range. It's not between negative 5 and 0.5. All right? Okay. Next, we can put x is less than 5. We don't have less than 5, although we did less equal 5, so that's okay. Let's do it real quick before we start solving other problems. Absolute value of x less than 5. So A, it's going to be positive x less than 5, and B, it's going to be negative x less than 5, which means x is greater than negative 5. Let's provide line. Negative infinity, positive infinity. If this is 0, let me take two cells to the right, to the left. Let's say this is negative 5, this is positive 5. What do we have? Less than 5, because equal sign is missing. I put parentheses, less than 5. Comes this way. And greater than negative 5. It comes this way. So it's going to be included in these two parentheses. Okay, let me see. In these two parentheses. They are overlapping each other, right? And the answer is going to be negative 5, positive 5. And lastly, number 8. Absolute value of x not equal 5. What do we have in this case? So, which means plus minus x cannot be equal 5, which means A, positive x cannot be equal 5, B, negative x cannot be equal 5, which means x cannot be equal negative 5. Yes, this and this. And if we use the graph, what do we get? It's going to be, it doesn't show us any range. It shows that the entire line of numbers can be valid except positive 5 and negative 5. And this is what I'm going to do. This is our going to be entire solution except negative 5, and let's say this is positive 5. Only these points cannot be. Okay? So, it's gonna, how are we gonna put here? We are going to break down into 3 ranges, this, and this. So the answer is gonna be negative infinity, negative 5, or negative 5, positive 5, or positive 5, infinity. Okay, now let's start solving example. This was alphabet for absolute values. So before we solve examples, I would like to write down the definition, the template of the absolute value. So absolute value is a function where x is real number. Okay, and absolute value of x is equal positive x if x is greater or equal 0. Let me clean this f. And negative x when x is greater than 0. Okay? This is why in this example up there, but I'll write down over again, when we had absolute value of x is equal negative 5, we said it cannot happen and it doesn't have solution because our value of x has to be positive. It has to be positive. Different story when you open and then from negative x you get negative result. But the absolute value per se here has to be positive. Okay, let me write down, and why is it? Why does it have to be only positive? Because the absolute value is a distance between beginning and to the, up to the point of x. All right? Now let's write down properties of absolute value. Property number 1. Absolute value of x should be greater or equal 0 always. Either greater or equal. Number 2, if absolute value of x is equal 0, and it's going both ways, that means x is equal 0, and vice versa. If x is equal 0, absolute value of x is equal 0. Next, absolute value of product is equal product of absolute values. Number 4, absolute value of division, it's equal division of absolute values. where obviously y cannot be equal 0, yes? Because we're dividing. Next one, number 5. Radical degree m over absolute value over x radical degree m over x to power m is equal absolute value of x. Well, we usually don't use it, but just so you know, it is absolute value of x, where m has to be even number. 2, 4, 6, okay, comma. Next, number 6. Why it's equal now at even number? Because only plus minus of x, if you take squared, it's going to be positive. When it's come to add, so it can be and negative and can be positive, correct? Let's say cubic radical, if I write down here, cubic radical of -1 to power 3, it's going to be -1, right? Okay. That's why we are dealing only with even numbers here in the properties. Number 6, what we have, absolute value of x to power n is equal x to power n, where n is even number. Number 7, absolute value of sum less equal the sum of absolute values. You don't believe me? You can plug some numbers and you will see yourself. And number 8, absolute value of difference is greater than difference of absolute values. Again, you don't believe me? Plug some numbers and you will see. Okay. So, let's solve first one, and then I will elevate as we go. Let's assume we have number 8, where it's number 9. Let's assume we have 2x plus 2 minus 12 less than -2. So first of all, I'm moving -2 on the other side, and I'm getting 2x plus 2 less than, it will be positive 12 minus 2, it's going to be positive 10, right? So from here, 2x plus 2 less than 10, this is version A, and version B, it's going to be negative 2x plus 2 less than 10, which means 2x, we divide by -1, right? Oops. We divide by -1 to get rid of this negative, and that's going to flip the sign also. And we will have 2x plus 2 greater than -10. Okay, from here, 2x, this one, less than 8, x is less than 4. And this one, 2x is greater than -2, 2 moving over will be -2, it's going to be greater than -12, and x is greater than -6. So the answer is going to be it's going to be range less than 4, right? Where is it? Less than 4 hold on, I didn't leave space. So this is my 4, less than 4, come this way, and greater than -6. This is my -6, let's say, and it's going to be greater than, come this way. So it's going to be between -6 and 4, right? So the answer is going to be -6 and 4. Okay? Next one. We have absolute value x squared minus 3x plus 2 plus absolute value 2x plus 1, and this is less than 5. Okay, so what we're gonna do, first of all, we need to find the solution for this quadratic expression, x squared minus 3x plus 2, which is gonna be, I'm going to solve x squared minus 3x plus 2 is equal 0. To be able to solve, we put equal 0. Okay, x1, it's gonna be equal 1. Okay, let me break it down so you will know. It's gonna be x minus 1 and x minus 2 is equal 0, right? -1 times -2 is 2. -1, -2 is -3. From here, x is equal 1 and x2 is equal 2, right? That's the first one. And the second one, 2x plus 1 equals 0. X is going to be equal okay, I'll try to jump. 2x is equal -1 and x is equal -1/2. So we have practically 3 solutions, right? 3 answers. Okay, now this is what we are going to do here. I'm going to break down, since we have here interval -0.5. This is going to be 1. This is going to be 2, right? And that's happening how many intervals? 1 interval less than 0.5. This second one between -0.5 and 1, between 1 and 2, and greater than 2, right? Breaking down into 4 intervals. So let's solve it. First one, we are going to look into between -infinity and 0.5. -0.5. Since 0.5 is included, so I put square brackets. So what is going to happen? So in this case, we have between -infinity and -1, I'm going to take -1. Easy number in this interval. So for this case, x squared minus 3x plus 2 and 2x plus 1. Let's see, if I plug -1 here, it's positive, 3 times -1. So we get 1 plus 3 plus 2. I'm getting greater than 0, yes? And 2x minus 1, 2 times -1 plus 1. -2 plus 1, I'm getting less than 0, yes? Okay, since this is plus, this is minus, therefore, when I put together these 2 parts of one inequality, x squared minus 3x plus 2, since this second one is minus, I put minus 2x plus 1, yes? And it's less than 5 originally, right? So from here, x squared minus 3x plus 2 minus 2x minus 1 is less than 5. And if I simplify, I'm getting x squared minus 5x minus 4 is less than 0. So if I solve this, and how I'm going to solve this, the quadratic inequality, this is going to be 1, which means this is A. This negative 5 is going to be my B, and negative 4 is going to be C. And I'm going to follow this format: ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And from here, x12 is equal negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So from here, let me write down a, b, and c. A is equal how much? 1. B is equal negative 5. And C is equal negative 4. Yes? Okay. So let's solve it. x12 is equal negative b is going to be positive 5 plus minus b squared is 25 minus 4 times a is 1, c is negative 4, and divided by 2a, 2 times 1. Okay, and we get x12 is equal 5 plus minus square root 25 plus 16 divided by 2, and we get x1 is equal 5 plus square root 41 over 2. x2 is equal 5 minus square root 41 over 2. Okay, so on interval, what do we have? Let me write down here. On interval, x is less equal negative 0.5. I have the answer. X is greater than 5 minus square root 41 over 2 and less than 5 plus square root 41 divided by 2. So which one it's going to fit in the range x is less than 0.5? It's going to be only this piece. Because 5 plus square root of 41 is 6.4. So it's going to be more, greater than negative 0.5, yes? Greater than negative 0.5, which means this one is not going to work. All we're going to do, have this one, because this is negative 6.4. And 5 minus negative 6.4, it's going to be what? Negative 1.4, right? And negative 1.4 divided by 2 is negative 0.7, which is less than 0.5 and satisfied to this expression. Therefore, the answer is going to be x is limited by greater than 5 minus square root 41 over 2 and less than negative 0.5. So this is our answer for the first case, first interval. Moving to second interval. Second interval is going to be between 0.5, right? Negative 0.5 and 1. If you wonder why I don't have 0.5 with equal sign here, because we already used, in this case, 0 equal sign, right, for the negative 0.5. That means it belongs, if this point already, solid point, belongs to this interval, I cannot use here. It's going to be at the not included 0.5 all the way to 1. And that's what we have, negative 0.5 to 1. Okay, let's find out these components of this inequality. Are they positive, negative? What do we have? I'm plugging here 0, the easiest part. So what did we have there? X squared minus 3x plus 2. X squared minus 3x plus 2. And we had also 2x plus 1. So if I plug 0, 0, I get positive 2, which is going to be greater than 0. Plugging 0, 0 plus 1, it's going to be greater than 0. So both of them are plus and plus, which means x squared minus 3x plus 2 plus 2x plus 1. It was less than 5, right? So if we simplify, we are going to get x squared minus x minus 2 less than 0. And we are going to have x, this one we can solve much easier, x plus 1, and x minus 2 is less than 0. Because we have 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, and positive 1, negative 2 going to give you negative 1. So since this product is less than 0, we have two choices. First combination, x plus 1 is greater than 0, x minus 2 is less than 0. Second combination, x plus 1 is less than 0, x plus 2 is greater than 0. Why is that? Because if here we have less than negative, so that means one of parentheses is positive, one is negative, to get product negative. That's why, since we don't know which one is positive, which one is negative, we are using both choices. Okay, in this case, x is greater than 1 and x is less than 2. In this case, x is less than negative 1 and x is greater than, this is negative 2. Hold on. Minus 2. X is greater than 2. Okay, so which one is, we know that we are going to have our solution, it has to satisfy x greater than negative 0.5 and less equal 1. Yes? Let's check this one. This is not going to work because it's greater than 1. Less than 2, it's not going to work because I can get 1.5 and it's not going to satisfy because above 1. Less than negative 1 in this case. Less than negative 1 and greater than 2. It's not gonna satisfy because less than negative 1 is less than 0.5. It's not satisfying, and x is greater than 2 is not satisfying because it's behind a 1. So our solution is gonna stay x is greater than negative greater than 0.5, negative 0.5, and less equal 1. This is going to be our answer for the second case. Okay? Next one. Between 1 and 2, right? Moving here between 1 and 2, this piece now. Number 3. It's going to be between 1 and 2. Now 1 is in parentheses, 2 is in square bracket. All right, so in this interval, x squared minus 3x plus 2 and 2x plus 1, let's see what we're going to get. I'm getting 1 and 2. Okay, since 2 is also included, I'm going to take 2. I don't want to take 1.5. I'm taking 2 because it's square bracket. 2 is included, that's going to work. 2 squared is going to be 4 minus 3 times 2 is going to be 6 and plus 2. So 4 minus 6, it's going to be what? Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Yes? Okay. Let me take another the solution, another case. 1.5. Okay, let's take 1.5. We need to find out if it's greater or less. 0 doesn't give us answer. So I'm going to get 1.5. So 1.5 squared minus 3 times 1.5 and plus 2. 1 times square at 1.5 squared is going to be 2.25. This is going to be 3 times 1.5, negative 4.5, and plus 2. Yes, we are going to get less than. Actually, 0 also I would count as a less than, because 0 is not positive number, it's not greater than 0, that then you could consider as a less than. But we got this way, it's not a big deal. So let me plug 2 in this case. 2 times 2 is 4, and then plus 1 is going to be greater than 0. Okay, we got it. Which means since x minus 3x and plus 2 is less than 0, right? Then we are going to have negative x squared minus 3x plus 2. Why? Because here we have negative, here we have positive, right? So it's going to be negative, and plus 2x plus 1, right? We need to get greater than 5. Greater or less we had to get? Okay, less than 5. Okay. So we are getting negative x squared plus 3x minus 2 plus 2x plus 1 less than 5. And here we get negative x squared. This 2 is going to be plus 5x. Negative 2 and 1 is going to be negative 1. And we move 5 here, will be negative 5. Negative 5 and negative 1 is going to be negative 6 is less than 0. Since we don't want to have negative x squared, I'm going to divide every single term by negative 1. And we are getting x squared minus 5x plus 6. Let me put this plus x. Plus 6 is greater than 0, right? So can we solve this easy way? Yes, x minus 2 times x minus 3 is greater than 0. So since we have greater than 0, that's mean x minus 2 greater than 0, x minus 3 greater than 0, or x minus 2 less than 0, x minus 3 less than 0. So to get positive product, so both terms have to be negative or both have to be positive. So here we get x is greater than 2, x is greater than 3. Here we get x is less than 2, x is less than 3. Let's see if it's going to satisfy between 1 and 2. That means x is greater than 1 and less equal 2. Okay, which one is going to match? This one, greater than 2, doesn't fit. Greater than 3 doesn't fit in the condition, in the interval we have. It's both falling out. Less than 2, it's does fit, less than 2. And less than 2 does fit, and less than 3 doesn't fit. So less than 2 here, we have less than 2 also. So the answer is going to be x is greater than 1, since this one is matching, right? And equal sign is missing, so this less equal to become only less. Okay? And this is gonna be our solution for the first case. And let's move to the second case, where we are going to have, fourth case, where we are going to have between 2 and positive infinity. This is going to be parentheses. And plus infinity, it's parentheses anyway. Okay, so x squared plus 3x plus 2 minus 3x. And 2x plus 1. Let's see what we get. 2 and infinity, I'm getting 3. This is going to be 9, 3 squared, minus 3 times 3 is 9, so it will be gone, right? Plus 2, so we are getting here positive, greater than 0. And 2x plus 1, if I take 3, it's going to be positive anyway. Also, so therefore we are going to have, this is positive, this is positive, which means we are adding them up. X squared minus 3x plus 2 plus 2x plus 1 less than 5. Therefore, if we do simplification, we are going to have x squared minus x minus 2 in less than 0. From here, we can write down x plus 1, x minus 2 is less than 0. I'll place this factoring at the end of the recording, okay, at the end of the screen. Okay, so since it's less than 0, what that means? X plus 1 is greater than 0, x minus 2 is less than 0, so plus minus. Or x plus 1 is negative and x minus 2 is positive. So from here, x is greater than negative 1, x is less than 2. X is less than negative 1, x is greater than 2. Let's see which one is going to survive, which one we're going to cancel. So I'm going to write down here, x is greater than 2 and less than infinity. So everything that is greater than 2, it's going to work. So this is, let me see, this is going to work. Greater than negative 1, no. It's not going to work because it can take negative numbers. This is not working. Less than 2, it's not working. Less than negative 1 is not working. X is greater than 2. This one is working. X is greater than 2 is fitting into this condition. Therefore, the answer is going to be between 2 and positive infinity. Okay, if combine all these answers, we are going to get, so it's going to get 5 minus square root 41 over 2, negative 0.5. Then we are getting here negative 0.5 and 1. Then we are getting here 1 and 2. And we get 2 and infinity. Okay, 0.5. Okay, all right, moving to next one. Next, we are going to solve inequality of the type absolute value f of g greater than g of x. And it can be not only greater than, it's can be greater equal, less, or less equal. Okay, we have x plus 5, and it's greater than 4. That means positive x plus 5 greater than 4 and negative x plus 5 greater than 4. So that means negative x minus 5 greater than 4. Negative x is greater than 4 plus 5, which negative x is greater than 9, and x is less than negative 9. Right? Okay. And for this one to solve, this is going to be x is greater than negative 1. Okay, so the solution is going to be, look here, this is negative 1, this is negative 9. So between negative infinity and negative 9, what else do we have? So x is less than negative 9, and x is greater than negative 1. So greater than negative 1. So from here, the answer is going to be negative infinity, negative 9, or negative 1, positive infinity. Okay? Next question. So thank you for watching. This is all for this video, and it's to be continued. Okay?